This side Rahul Magan here as the Group Chief Executive Officer Treasury Consulting. There are several good news which I wanted to share. Number one, today 3rd February 2020, it's around 3 a.m. in the morning, we closed around 1000 plus TikTok videos. Now our channel on the TikTok holding around 1000 plus TikTok videos, and we assure you that probably by December 2020 we would be holding not less than 4500 to 5000, somewhere between 4500 to 5000 TikTok videos. Alternatively, our YouTube channel is now officially entering into the world of cryptocurrency. So today we are talking it about cryptocurrency. We are talking it about the most awaited projects in the world of cryptocurrency, which is, Project UBIN, Project Jasper, and so many projects. Actually, in my life, there are multiple events happened. Like in 2008, when the world financial crisis happened, I was 1 year old in the banking domain. And I was approximately 23, 24, something like. And I was working. It was my first job around 1 year, and I was not in a position to come in the open domain and specifically on the YouTube. And by the way, during 2008, YouTube was also not very famous. YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, WhatsApp, they got famous in last 5-6 years. So basically the whole social media platform got famous in last 5-6 years. So in 2008 they were not very famous. It's around 12-13 years before. So I used to write blogs on Google and used to share my knowledge in foreign exchange via blogs. You know that blogs are always having very limited audiences and very limited reach. And secondly, when you work in a corporate, so blogs are always having very limited reach. But now in 2020, which is approximately 12 years from 2008, we as a company, as an organization, and myself as an individual is having a great opportunity. And that opportunity is the opportunity of the cryptocurrency. In fact, when Bitcoin was launched, I was in EXL, so I was not in a position to officially come into the Bitcoin. But now I think that, I don't know, several people call this 4.0, that it is the fourth revolution of the industry. I say that I don't think it is 4 or 5 or 6, but I think that those who will sustain this revolution will stay, if not forever, at least for 25 to 30 years, that I'm sure. In fact, many comments which are as usual I received on my YouTube or my WhatsApp and all is that our last video 2020 to 30, many people liked it. They said that you are right, that the next decade, the decade in which we are actually, is not going to be easy. I absolutely agree with that. But having said that, there is one big mistake which is happening in our financial system, which I was not been able to raise during 2008-2009 financial crisis. And that is that the knowledge level of the regulator is falling at a much faster pace. In fact, more than faster pace, to be honest. I don't know, can I compare this with the meltdown of the glaciers of Greenland? But I think that the pace at which the Greenland glaciers are getting melt, it is the same pace that the knowledge level of the regulators is actually declining, and at very faster pace, maybe more faster than, to be honest. So there are a lot of fancy things which are happening worldwide, but you know that our YouTube channel do not enter up into any kind of debate until we have the data with us. I personally is a data loving people. I feel that if you have the data, then you should speak. If you do not have the data, so do not speak. So I always love data. Because before any video, we need to collate a lot of data, and once we collate data and we store the data so that if anyone challenges, then we have the data set ready with us to produce. There are many fancy things happening in the central bank. Example, Project UBIN, the digitization of Sing dollar. Now People Bank of China coming, digitization of Chinese yuan. Around 78 plus central banks of the globe are planning to digitize their currency. Project Jasper, which is again a similar kind of project like Project UBIN, but it is by Canada. And there are multiple countries. But we know that regulatory is the big flag in majority of the countries, and US and Singapore is definitely not an exception, to be honest. Had it been the incidents like HiFlex and a lot of startups got almost busted. In fact, in the last week itself, I got to know that 2 companies almost closed their shops in Singapore. So in 2019, around 9 retail shops closed. In retail shops doesn't mean the total shop, retail brands actually. Let it be specific. 9 retail brands closed in 2019, and around 2 more companies closed last week in Singapore. So it is definitely not the Singapore of 2008 wherein everything was going good and the government was responsive and all. It is definitely not that Singapore. This Singapore is completely different, wherein rather than growing, we are stressing on deceleration. So in economics, growth means this, invert means this, deceleration means more or less flat but continuously decreasing. But anyways, currently many central banks talk about central bank digital currency, CBDC. And this turns out to be a very fancy word as of now. Like, let's take an example. It is said that Project UBIN, which is a dream project of Government of Singapore, Monetary Authority of Singapore, in fact JP Morgan also involved, Credit Suisse also involved, many Accenture also involved, and many big fours are involved in that. It is said that Government of Singapore wanted to digitize the Sing dollars, but unfortunately the efforts made by the Chinese government are much better, and that is the reason, according to me, with due respect to both the countries, that Government of China, or specifically speaking People Bank of China, would be able to make Chinese yuan digitize earlier than Singapore. Yes, because of this Chinese virus issue, there might be a delay of 3-4 months, that I cannot guarantee, but the way they are working is absolutely good. Having said that, before we think of digitizing any currency, we need to understand one thing very clearly, that 5 people should be with us. And I have not seen that all 5 are with us as far as Project UBIN and Project Jasper is concerned. I will not talk specific about the Project Jasper now, because this is not the only video we are shooting. We are going to be shooting a sequence of video covering the central bank digital currencies. So we focus on Project UBIN, then Pink Project Jasper, and a lot of multiple projects we come. When we talk about Project UBIN, the very important system that is in place, that is MAPS. MAPS means MAS. MAS stands for Monetary Authority of Singapore. MAS, Electronic Payment System. If you visit the website of the MAPS, you would get to know that the total trading volume, which is IFT plus Singapore government bonds, is government securities, is approximately in 2019, if I am not mistaken, around 21 trillion Sing dollars. So that's a huge amount. And if you wanted to digitize Sing dollar, you need to digitize your real-time gross settlement system. By the way, MAPS is the real-time gross settlement system which covers your government securities, interbank balances and everything. Just like we have NDS-OM in India, just like we have multiple real-time gross management system, RTGS system of multiple countries, like different countries of the globe having their different RTGS system. So in case of Singapore, it is MAPS. But one mistake which according to me MAPS did is that, I agree that MAPS have interbank balances, But one mistake according to me maps this is that interbank market is not no more a physical marketplace. Interbank market is a non-physical marketplace. And I have the proof. Because do you know that I never speak if I don't have the proof. So this is an article which suggests that BNP Paribas to unveil EFX pricing trading engine in Singapore. French bank BNP Paribas said that it will launch an electronic foreign exchange, shortly known as EFX pricing and trading engine in Singapore, with the Monetary Authority of Singapore. The new engine will offer EFX trading of 50 currencies in spot, forward, swaps, non-deliverable and option, as well as commodity and all. To be honest, I really doubt that whether this system would be able to cover all, and that too 50 currencies. I do not know you know or not, in the globe there are 189 currencies. So any EFX trading platform covering only 50 currencies, so rest 139 currencies, who will cover I don't know, but maybe. And more importantly, why it is only restricted to non-deliverable forwards, I do not know. And when they said swaps, there are humongous amount of swaps, and when they said options, there are so many options. So this is, to me, it is another fancy thing. But having said that, BNP Paribas along with Citi and now Standard Chartered, there is a news which is there that on I think 22nd January 2020, Standard Chartered concluding its first electronic FX transaction, and the counterparty is UOB, United Overseas Bank, Singapore. I don't know how their EFX platform look like, what all currencies they are covering, what all they are not covering, I don't know, but once we have information we will tell. So the biggest factor in every real-time gross management system is the interbank market. So interbank market is now getting electronic, and that too at a much faster pace. Like JP Morgan Chase, Goldman, although there is no official news of Goldman joining EFX trading, but I'm sure Goldman would join this league soon. But Goldman joining is a different way of joining because they act as a prop desk. They don't act as a FX desk, so they act as a prop desk. So we first need to see very carefully that when it comes to interbank market, there are two parts. Number one, non-prop desk, who covers the client money, and number one is the prop desk, who covers your own money. So Goldman is a prop desk, while JP Morgan, Citi, BNP Paribas and now Standard Chartered, they have their prop and non-prop desk both. Plus we need to understand, in this interbank market we have FICC. FICC stands for Fixed Income Currency and Commodities. Many people even do not know about that, and on an often note I being asked on WhatsApp by many people that what is FICC. By the way, FICC stands for Fixed Income Currencies and Commodities. There are around 8 asset classes in the FICC. 8, numeric 8. Fixed income, currencies and commodity. And when it covers the total amount of, or the total quantum of the instruments in FICC, then I think I have this pad, I need around 10 pads to write one by one. That is why I never go with the fancy things, and especially with the banks, and thank you very much, I worked as a corporate treasurer, I know these banks very well. Majority of the people, those who write these articles in the media, they do not know the difference between forward and non-deliverable forward, but they write the piece which banks gives them. So having said that, the banks mentioned again that the new engine offers EFX trading of 50 currencies in spot, forward, swaps, non-deliverable forwards and options, as well as commodity e-trading for both precious and base metals, the bank said. I know that person who wrote this article himself do not know the difference, so it is not his fault. Whatever bank is giving, they're doing Control C and Control V. That's it. So first is the interbank, and interbank covers into two, which is prop and non-prop. The highly unfortunate part is that even in 2020, if I exclude the top boys like Goldman, JP, Citi, Standard Chartered, HSBC and all, the rest boys do not even have appropriate digital desk. So how they would be trading with under Project UBIN or Project Jasper, that is a big concern. Example, Uh, Thailand. Thailand is not Somalia. It's a well-known country, right? They have their political stable government. They have their exports. They have their import. Thailand do have everything, and it is an integral part of Southeast Asia. We cannot deny that. In fact, today I was reading one of the articles and I got to know that Southeast Asia would contribute around, would have a business of around 38 billion, right? 38 billion as far as the digital transactions are concerned. And this only covers from 6 countries, and out of this 6, Thailand is there. Thailand is one of them. If today I wanted to do a transaction between Thai baht to Sing dollar, can I get this done? I can get this done on Reuters and Bloomberg. But many people do not know that Sing dollar to Thailand baht is not a direct code. Sorry, it is not a standard code. So we need to divide this into 2 parts. One is dollar to Sing dollar, and another is the Sing dollar and another is dollar to Thailand baht. So Sing dollar to Thailand baht needs to divide into 2 parts. Dollar to Sing dollar and dollar to Thailand baht. And then we need to multiply and we will get around Sing dollar to Thailand baht. But the problem actually starts from here. And that is a concern. That is the biggest concern for me. Because the biggest concern is that Singapore MEPS, Interbank, the part of MEPS, Interbank, it may get digitized for a minute, I assume. But it is nowhere in concurrence with the Thailand baht, who is not digitized. So before any central bank, maybe Monetary Authority of Singapore talks about the fancy thing like Project UBIN and all, and their so-called Big Four partners talk about Project UBIN, they first need to understand that the basic premise of a digital currency is to get or to unite the interbank market. Until the interbank market is not unite, the holistic success is not possible. In finance, there is a word called holistic success. Holistic success means a success factor which covers everything. Example, Goldman is a holistic prop desk. They cover everything in the prop desk. Goldman is a holistic investment bank. They cover everything in investment banking. JP Morgan Chase is a holistic retail bank. They cover everything in retail banking. UBS is a holistic retail plus investment bank in Europe. They cover everything in that. Until this interbank market will get unite or holistic, the success of any central bank in terms of digital currency is next to impossible. In fact, not next to impossible, impossible I can give in writing. And if central bank is dreaming that, it is a clear dream in a day. But no one can stop the dreams. Now another important problem is that since this digitization is based upon DLT, distributed ledger technology, or blockchain, whatever you say, we need to create a smart tokens. So every Sing dollar or Canadian dollar or probably any other currency that comes in future, that would have a smart token contract. Smart contract behind that token. But the question is that how secure are the smart contracts? Do you want me to tell you on the YouTube that how secure are the smart contracts? You check on Google and you get to know. Almost every week there are incidents happening in the various cryptocurrency exchanges that some $1,000 being stolen, some millions dollars being stolen and all, and this is happening almost every week. And more importantly, another important thing when it comes to smart contract is the written regulatory and acceptable guidelines about smart contract. So example, ISDA, International Swap and Derivative Association, recently released a working paper in which they talked about the, I would say the digitized derivative instrument or a smart derivative instrument. It's around 38-page document which ISDA released in the public domain. Though I have a huge interpretation issue with this working paper, I read word by word and I have a huge interpretation issue, and eventually we would be discussing these interpretation issue in public domain. But having said that, so for a minute I assume that I can write a smart contract and I can give an assurance that this smart contract would have a cyber proof, or this smart contract would be able to cover all kind of securities. But the biggest point I need to agree and find it out is that smart contract is backed up by a regulatory which is accepted across the globe. And by the way, there are only two organizations which we have, those who can do that work. One is the BIS, Bank for International Settlement, Switzerland-based firm, and one is the ISDA, International Swap and Derivative Association. Except these two, there is no regulatory which we have worldwide who is universally acceptable. Federal Reserve guidelines applicable in US, MAS guidelines applicable in Singapore, RBI, Reserve Bank of India guidelines applicable in India. So the universal guidelines is only these two people. Well, we have many like World Trade Organization, World Bank and all, but they don't enforce. They are not a global regulators as far as banking is concerned. So do we have a written regulatory guidelines available? It is a draft which is to put in the public domain. And by the way, on a WhatsApp group, every day there are a lot of drafts come. How many drafts you read and how many drafts? And by the way, today is around 3rd February 2020. The LIBOR fallout agreement is yet to be accepted. And we would have a specific video on that. The LIBOR fallout agreement which is released by ISDA is yet to be accepted. And how far are we from the replacement of LIBOR? It's around 1 year. So 1 year we are away from the replacement of the LIBOR, and it is yet to be accepted. And we are talking about the digitization of a currency which is nothing but which is written on which is just like a smart contract, a kind of a payment token. But that smart contract has to have a written regulatory guidelines accepted across the globe, but it is not there. Fantasy number 2. And this applies to everything. It's not about Project UBIN, it's not about Project Jasper or any other central bank. It applies to everyone. And more important thing, the People Bank of China coming in the public domain, and they are making the complete blueprint change. They are adding a fresh piece into that. They are saying like last year, November 2019, there are actually 3 fintech festival happened. So one fintech festival is first, I think it was by Abu Dhabi Fintech Festival, and then it was immediately the Hong Kong Fintech Festival, and then the Singapore Fintech Festival. In Hong Kong Fintech Festival, one of the very senior director level person from People Bank of China, he came and he gave his presentation about the People Bank of China. Do I need to tell you about the technological advancement of People Bank of China? People Bank of China is much advanced, and you should not forget that Project UBIN started much earlier than Chinese thought for being a digital yuan. And they not only started late but also ending early than Project UBIN. So the senior director of People Bank of China came in public domain and he said that China is going to create digital currency electronic payment, which is DCEP, and which would be divided into 2 parts. One is a wholesale, which would cater commercial bank, and one would be retail coins. And by the way, there is another catch in that. The catch is that the retail coins would be circulated by the commercial banks. So People Bank of China is moving away from its responsibility. Although it's a huge interpretation issue to discuss with the People Bank of China, that why are you moving away from your responsibility? Because today, if there is any form of or any currency in circulation, it is the duty of that central bank. That is why we have M0, M1, M2, M3 and M4. These are all monetary aggregates. And by the way, do I need to tell you that all monetary aggregates needs to be managed and controlled by the central bank? So this statement given by the People Bank of China is another catch. is that they are saying that they're going to have digital currency electronic payment, which would further divide it into two parts, wholesale and retail part is to be catered or to be distributed by the commercial bank. So indirectly they are saying retail part would come under the wholesale. So things is very interesting. Things are very, very interesting. Henceforth, we are concluding this video. If you're thinking these are the only videos, then relax. By the time next Singapore FinTech Festival happens, we would be the only source of having a lot of information about cryptocurrency, central bank cryptocurrencies, rest assured. But to conclude this discussion, I would like to say that central banks needs to understand very carefully that if they wanted to digitize their currency, I'm not against technology, but at the same time, there's a very good line in English which is that half-baked knowledge is always dangerous. And central bank do not understand that effective 2008, in fact before 2008 also the world had faced several financial crises because of these central banks. Only for the sake of fantasy, only for the sake of to prove something, if you try and enter into that area, it would end up a big collapse. We not yet discuss the role of CSD, Central Statistical Depositories. We not yet discuss the role of NSDs, National Security Depositories. We not yet discuss the role of a big CCPs, Central Clearing Counterparty, just like SGX, CME and all. We not yet discuss the role of CLS and all these things. So once the complete holistic picture come into the public domain, then people will get to know eventually that how difficult it is to have a digitized yuan or a digitized Sing dollars. And this is our first video. With this, we thank you very much. You know my mobile number, which is +91 98 99 242 978. You know our fixed income platform, www.fixedincome.global. I do have an alternate mobile number also, so my both numbers are 9899 242 978. My other number is 9818 485 155. Treasury Consulting wanted to be a bank, and we would end up as a bank in next 1 year of or maximum 2 year of time. No regulator in this globe can stop us. No regulator. Because we know one thing, that debit card, credit card, multi-currency account, this is not what banking is all about. Banking is a very good thing. Goldman Sachs proved to this globe that a prop desk can earn billions of dollars provided run in an effective way. Goldman is the #1 investment banker of the globe. They proved it again and again. JP Morgan proved that a bank can be holistic and cover retail banking and still be profitable. Every bank is having its own USP, but if any regulator feels that this cannot be replicated, then this regulator is an idiot, to be honest, because this can be replicated. I would like to conclude this discussion with a very beautiful information which I received. The information is that Hong Kong means HKMA, Hong Kong Monetary Authority, and along with one another, I think it's Thailand. I take an indemnification, I need to check again, but I'm sure about Hong Kong. Hong Kong Monetary Authority is testing the cross-border central bank digital currency. We don't have the complete information about this project, or we not read it. The soon we read it, we're going to be posting on the YouTube. But one thing is sure, that we entry into the cryptocurrency at a point when they want it. Have a good time and talk soon. Stay relaxed.